Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And get ready for another special review because it is just Marco here once again. Oh God, I don't know where to put this segment in the video. Because, I know that this is just Marco here, and I am here to do a review of Kitchen Nightmares, Season 10, Episode 6, and I don't know where to begin, because, I did something today. I got British food. I got British food from this restaurant called The Pub, and I had it delivered. I got an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. Oh, okay, so I have some thoughts, to be honest. Okay, I'll have to save that at the end, because I know that a lot of people, you come on here and you just want to see me talk about Kitchen Nightmares and Chef Gordon and his antics and his soy lattes and all that. So this is Gordon going to a place called Boogles. Or wait, was it Boodles? Boodles or Boogles. And it is like a restaurant, steakhouse, and basically the central conflict here that they kind of just nail over and over and over again for 55 minutes. Is that you have this very old owner named Bruno. And he is he's just an old-fashioned guy. He's a classic guy. He's a classic gentleman. And then you have his son named Kevin. And Kevin, I can only describe him as a character out of Beavis and Butthead. The whole time I was watching him, I was thinking of the theme song, Beavis and Butthead. And that you could have fucking Kevin there, Kevin's lazy ass, because Kevin, he is the manager. And it's really interesting because remember the manager from episode 1 who would just walk around the restaurant and he would slurp and drink the drinks, have the cup with the ice and the straw, and he'd just be sucking on it all day long. Okay, that sounds bad. But there was one shot in this episode, and I don't know if they did it on purpose, but Kevin was doing the same thing, but he was doing it with a tall glass of I guess water with ice and lemon, and he was sucking out of that thing instead of taking charge. So that's basically I know that usually I start off and I say, okay, Chef Gordon, he has had a premium large drink, large soy latte, and then he goes into the restaurant, and I didn't really think much of the restaurant, to be honest. I didn't think it was too bad. I like old-fashioned places. I don't understand, why everything has to be modernized. Some places, they can stay in the past. We have a pizza place in our city, and it is very outdated. It has an arcade, and it's very, very vintage. But that's part of why it's good. I mean, it looks exactly the same as when I went there as a kid. And to be honest, all these other places, Taco Bell, McDonald's, let's see, Wendy's, I never really saw the old Wendy's very much. I would only get it through drive-thru. But all these places that look different now, I gotta be honest, guys, I really don't like it. I don't like how these places look. McDonald's used to look a million times better. People talk about this. This is an actual, like, a topic that people post about online. You see these pictures of, like, this is what these places used to look like, and this is what they look like now. And it's just, Taco Bell, too. Like, I remember Taco Bell. It used to be such a beautiful place. Like, there were a couple times I actually ate in that restaurant because I liked it so much. And Meijer, the grocery store, they used to have a food court, and me and my dad would go there and get grilled cheese and tomato soup. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. And nowadays it's like, oh, well, we have to change things because we have to modernize it. And to be honest, with this restaurant, I kind of was like half paying attention because of what I'll talk about after this review with the British food, which I'm still kind of thinking about is it's like occupying my stomach. It's occupying it right now, if you get what I mean. I hope you guys will enjoy that part because it was not worth the $54. Oh, but whatever. But anyways, I didn't really notice much of a difference between like the remodel and then the old version. Like, I guess it's good to replace things that are broken. It's good to, update some things, but like, I don't know, like, I didn't really notice much of a difference. And to be honest, like, again, I think that we need to stop modernizing. Because I think something else that's pretty interesting, and this is something that I will say that I think that Kitchen Nightmares does a much better job at, like, updating things than Bar Rescue. But on Bar Rescue, okay, every single time, like, he changes these places, like, it looks terrible. It looks awful, and they lose all their personality. Like, if you guys remember, there was a Bar Rescue, where it was a pirate bar. That sounds really cool. I wish I could go to a pirate bar. I would go there all the time. I don't even go to bars, and I would go to that. And instead of, like, trying to improve the pirate bar, John turned it into, like, a corporate bar. It's like a corporate, like, theme. And it's like, really? Like, that's just, like, really, really, ugh. But anyways, I know I got a little bit off track, but, like, that's one of the things that jumped out about me about this episode was, like, Gordon kept on talking about, like, we got to modernize. We're stuck in the past. It's like, Gordon, your idea of modernization is selling frozen food. Your idea of modernization is having a MasterChef quote-unquote global gauntlet, and then there are no British contestants with British food, and there's no Americans with American food. So your idea of modernization is just, I don't know, like, it's almost like a downgrade. It kind of reminds me of, like, when you go see a movie, which I don't really go to the movies anymore, except if it's like a old movie that they're putting back in theaters, or if it's like a movie I really, really want to see. But, like, let's just say you go to a movie, you go see the new Spider-Man, which is the worst Spider-Man in history, the worst Spider-Man film ever made, and you're wondering, why is this bad? And then you look online and there's an interview, and the writer says, we have to update Spider-Man for the modern audiences. And it's just like, that's code word for it's got to be a piece of shit. And what do you know? I mean, so anyways, Chef Gordon, he I don't know how much he knows about these places, but he walked in the place Like, he was completely, it was so funny because this is like one of the only times I've ever seen Chef Gordon, and he looks like he's out of his element in this restaurant. Like, he almost just looks like a regular, average, everyday guy who is like being swallowed by the inner workings of this steakhouse restaurant and all this. I mean, he looks so out of it. He looks so much like, oh, I wish I was in London right now, eating some Koei and beans. And so he had his soy today for sure, because he orders escargot, which, as I've told you guys before, I actually ordered escargot on my birthday one year, and I was not even allowed to order like a regular entree. I had to eat escargot because I ordered it, and it was so bad. That's got to be the worst birthday meal I've ever had. But Chef Gordon got the escargot, and of course, it was canned. And it's like, honestly, gross. At the same time, though, I know a guy who, like, all he does is review, like, canned fish, canned, creatures like shellfish and, snails, escargot. Like, he reviews all that stuff. And it can't be, like, horrible. Like, it's just escargot. Like, it's just the creature. Like, what is the difference? There's got to be some sort of, like, a measurable difference if it was that bad. I mean, Gordon acted like it was like, ugh. He acted like he was eating the plague. And then I think he had calamari, I think. And also, by the way, all the items on the menu were very overpriced. $30 to $40 entrees. I'm getting Love on the Blue flashbacks, PTSD flashbacks. And by the way, that episode has not aged well, because the same way that Gordon treated that horrible manager so well because, she lost a baby, like, as if that gives her an excuse to mistreat people and to be a shitty manager. You see the way that people are defending that mother who killed her 3 children. You see all these women and all these crazy feminazis who are defending her, and it just echoes, like, every single thing that I've said, to where, like, we have a serious problem now where women are just not being held accountable. Like, no matter what they do. I mean, that is, like, the absolute worst thing a woman could do, is kill her children, or, that's one of the worst possible things. It's at the bottom of the barrel. And so that's what that reminded me of. I just wanted to say that really quickly, because, like, Gordon, he just, like, oh, you go home and you come back and have a different hairstyle and, dress up a little bit differently, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're a good person, I guess. Like, that's what we should have done with, Osama bin Laden. Like, just tell him to, dress up in a suit and tie and, just improve his attitude, and then maybe he'll become a good person. Like, that's basically the logic. And so, anyways, I don't know why I talked about Osama bin Laden. Okay, so, back to the show. Not Osama bin Laden. Okay, he gets Steak Diane, which this restaurant is famous for, I guess. I mean, that's one of their notable things. And it was terrible. I mean, it was the absolute worst thing. I think it was, like, rubbery. It was not good. But like overall, like the food was just it was just bad. I mean, it wasn't like horrible. It was just really bad. But after lunch, Gordon's main takeaway was more so the fact that like this food is outdated. He's like, everything here is outdated. We got to modernize. We can't stay in the past anymore. You gotta kill the past, just like Luke Skywalker said in The Last Jedi. And so then, this is the funniest part. This was the funniest part of the entire episode. Chef Gordon asks I think he's the head chef. There were two chefs, and one of them named Joe. He sadly passed away. I thought that was terrible. And, they had a memorial to him at the end. But, I think it was him. Chef Gordon straight up asks him, "Are you proud of your cooking? Are you proud of your food, Joe? Chef Joe?" And he says, "Yeah." He's just... he's not going to let... he's going to be honest. He's going to say, "Yeah, my food's good. What's the deal?" And then Chef Gordon's response isn't okay, I understand. He could say something like, "I understand that you think it's good, but what about everybody else? Maybe it's time to change with the present and do some things differently and add some flavor and pizzazz." He could have said something like that, but instead, he asks this chef, "Do you like your food? Are you proud of it?" The guy says yes. And Gordon's response is, "You've given up." How does that make sense at all? That was either edited to where, that was not his actual response, or that was just straight up, Gordon Ramsay, he has, a soundboard. He has, all the same things, "Okay, you want to quit? You can quit. You've given up. Are you giving up?" He says all the same things now. "We gotta simplify the menu. You've got to step up. You're giving up. Everyone's giving up. We're not communicating." That's a big one. "We're not communicating anymore. We're giving up." He says all the same things. It's just like the old days of Judge Judy. Judge Judy's soundboard. Prank calls. You can make soundboards of people and then do prank calls. "Hello? Papa John's?" And then you'd have a Judge Judy sound, and the person would be like, "Hello, this is a pizza place. Who is Judy?" That's what Gordon Ramsay has turned into. He's almost and this is going to sound really mean. I am half convinced Chef Gordon Ramsay is not human anymore. I am convinced he might be an animatronic. He might be a robot. Just imagine, guys, because Gordon Ramsay, would he ever allow frozen food to be made of his food? Just ask yourself that. Put on the X-Files theme and think about it. Because here's the thing. It is totally possible. Walmart, they conspired. They turned Gordon Ramsay into a robot. And so now he is just an animatronic. And they can just press the same buttons, all the same buttons. "You've given up. You might as well quit. We're not communicating. This place is a disaster." That's what he's become. Chef Gordon, you have become an animatronic Halloween decoration that walks and talks and shits and eats. Just look at yourself in the mirror and think about that. Okay? Okay, so here's the main issue, though, with this restaurant. You have the dad, Bruno. He's not doing very well. He's in his 80s, mid-80s. And it's not like the 1980s. It's like the bad 80s, where you're 80-something years old. And he has braces on both knees, and he just needs to retire. He needs to, but he doesn't want to. He's got that old-fashioned boomer spirit. Like that, I can't give up. I've got to keep fighting and doing things and just, And then you have his son. And you can just tell from his haircut. You can tell he's weird. He's a good person. I'm not criticizing him personally, but like, he is not like his father. He's kind of like Bobby Hill is a teenager. Is like a young teenager. Bobby Hill. And then you play the Beavis and Butthead theme. That's what he's like. And, his dad is not letting him take over because he doesn't trust him. And then his son, he's a pussy. He's a pussy, and, he doesn't want to take responsibility. He's got excuse after excuse. Well, I don't know. How do I approach the conversation? Chef Gordon, what do I do? I don't... what is the kitchen? I don't know what a kitchen is. That's what he's like. He's clearly out of his element. He's the type of contestant that would be on Hell's Kitchen, and Chef Gordon would say, Kevin, give me your apron. You need more experience. He's exactly the type. But here's the thing. This has like become a problem nowadays, to where like all these jobs and all these people, all these places, like even I've worked with actors, and they act like it was like an issue that I had never made a movie before. And it's like, well, how are you supposed to get the experience without just doing it? Like, how is Kevin supposed to be a good owner and take over if he's not getting any experience or any kind of mentorship? And that this also kind of reminded me of the Buddy Valastro Cake Dynasty thing, where Buddy was trying to like figure out like which of his kids would take over, and he's trying to mentor them, and he's being intense and hovering over their shoulders and telling them what to do. And Kevin, I don't know like the whole story, like, but it just kind of seems like his dad is just kind of like, I'd rather not, At one point, Gordon tells Kevin, this was actually a really funny quote. He tells Kevin, if I was your dad, I'd be kicking your ass right now. You guys gotta admit, even if you think that this show has fallen off, that line was hilarious. Because he really needed that. Like, Kevin really needed that. He needed that kind of father figure to come in and just say, like, you're fucking up. You gotta take over. You gotta start doing something. You gotta grab yourself by the balls and start doing something, Kevin. He really needed that. And so he got what he fucking deserved. So then we see Chef Gordon watching over things in the kitchen. And this is probably... this might be the most disastrous service of the whole season so far. Like, it is just... it was so bad that, like, I didn't even bother, like, trying to make any sense of it. Like, okay, first this happened, then that happened. Like, I just was like, this is... there's no order. It's just chaos. It's just a bunch of things happening, and, it's just... It's very, very, like, messy, and you can tell this is what happens when you don't have someone in charge to tell people what to do. And it's not like it's their fault. It's not like, these terrible, employees. It's just the fact that, like, this is how it works. You have to have a system in a restaurant. You have to have somebody who orders people around and, like, make sure that things run properly. And then you have, the kitchen people and the servers, waitresses, whatever. Like, that's just how it is. And when you don't really have that, when you have Kevin, who, in his defense, he's kind of neutered, He's not really allowed to do much, but he is supposed to be manager. That's the other thing. And that's the thing that we have learned in this Kitchen Nightmare season, is that, like, managers are not very... there needs to be a little bit of an improvement in the manager department with all these places. And so anyways, what ends up happening, though, there are two things. Excuse me, sorry. You guys will understand when I tell you about it, okay? You just wait. You just wait. I mean, you guys know why I'm so off in this review. You just wait. I swear, you will not regret, like, the last 10 minutes of this video. Okay, so anyways, one of the things that happens is that, and as I said, Gordon is, like, out of his element. He's watching Joe, or the other chef, work on mashed potatoes, which he said his mashed potatoes were lumpy. And this is the first time in history that anyone has seen or done this before. This chef has a drill with something in it, and he is drilling mashed potatoes. He is using a drill to mix mashed potatoes. I mean, that was just like... I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was just so strange. And at that point, I think Gordon realized, like, that's one of the funniest things about these modern episodes, is that, like, Gordon isn't really as hardcore anymore, and he doesn't shout. He doesn't really, like, really confront people anymore. He's soy. He's soy. He's an animatronic. But you can tell the look on his face. Like, he used to have all these one-liners and all of these insults, but now he just looks at things and he looks like he's just completely just weirded out. And then there was another part, and this was the funniest part of the whole episode. This is the funniest part. Okay, one of the chefs dropped a pair of tongs on the floor, and then they picked them up. And then they start picking things up with the tongs. And the whole time, Gordon, he can't say anything. He's just standing there watching, and he's like, he's so upset. And he's so shocked. I mean, that was so hilarious. And the tongs were being used for everything. Like, the chicken, beef, pork, whatever, all the different things. And not only that, but they were dirty because they were on the floor. I mean, that was really funny. Okay, and so Gordon shuts down the kitchen, and people aren't even getting their food anyways. Like, this place probably had the least output of all of the restaurants so far in the show in their, like, first initial service. So right off the bat, Gordon sends Bruno home for obvious reasons. And then he has a talk with the kitchen, and he has a talk with the son, and he changes the menu. He simplifies it just like usual. But not only that, he adds something very special to the menu that I'm sure you guys will appreciate this reference if you guys like Hell's Kitchen. He adds Steak Diane tableside. Tableside! You guys know where tableside comes from. And so, that is like a signature part of the new menu. To be honest, like, I don't know. I don't know what I would get at this restaurant. Like, with all the other ones, I kind of know, but like this one, I'm not really sure. So it's a steakhouse, right? It's a steakhouse. Like, that's what it is. Like, because, I don't know, like, the first episode with the Freddy's Steakhouse, it felt a lot more like a traditional one. And this place just gives off, like, just regular restaurant vibes. So then Gordon also has the place remodeled, of course. And finally, we have our first service with Kevin is the new boss. And boy, oh boy, is this a strange episode. Because right off the bat, like, Bruno does not want to give up his restaurant to Kevin. But then all of a sudden, when he comes back after he goes home, just like with all the other Kitchen Nightmare episodes, he comes back and all of a sudden he just gives it up to Kevin. And he says, well, that's what I was wanting to do. So that was hilarious. With him, it's a little bit more understandable because they said he was having problems and, like, you know, he was coming in on, like, a Sunday and expecting people to come in at a certain time and they weren't there, you know, so he's been having problems and, like, but it's just so funny how every episode now the manager or boss goes home and then they come back and all of a sudden everything is perfectly okay. I mean, I don't get that. I really don't. Okay, so the service goes pretty terribly at first. They just kind of fall back into their old habits. And, you know, it's basically just Gordon having to tell Kevin, like, look, tell you people what to do. Do it now. And then I guess just things shape up and then they get better and everything's fine. I will say that, like, this was another kind of poorly constructed episode. It felt like the editor, he didn't really know, like, where to put things and how to really frame things and make sense of the story. It just kind of felt like it followed the same formula, and I didn't really understand, you know, how things shaped up at the end. I mean, you know, someone like Kevin, and this is no, like, insult to him, but someone like him would not just become a boss and an owner in one day and in one service. And yet, it's like, because of the formula, they have to pretend like he does. And they have to pretend like, okay, and then all of a sudden, everyone pulled everything together and everything became great. And then at the end, of course, Gordon tells Kevin, good luck. And then Kevin sends a video update and they're doing well. And the chefs are getting very creative and they're, you know, experimenting and they're having a lot of fun. And I guess they're doing really well, so that's good. Good luck, Kevin. And they also said Bruno will still not retire. So they have to find him projects to do. Which is really sad. I mean, at the heart of it, this is a problem with America. This is not just a problem with a restaurant. This is a problem with America, okay? Because at a certain point, like, you have to ask, why is it that there's people who just can't retire? And how did that mindset, because, you know, it's like when you're born, you go straight to school, and you're in school till a certain age, and then you're supposed to go to college or get your first job at a certain age, and then you get into your career, and it's like basically your entire life is almost like pre-planned and pre-structured by the government. And so you think about, like, what would it take for somebody like Bruno to retire? Isn't retirement the goal? I mean, isn't the goal to, stop working instead of to just keep going? I don't know. Everyone's different, but we're all put in the same garbage bin. Okay, so anyways, I would give this episode like a C-. I thought it was really weak. I thought there were some funny moments, but it was kind of a mess, and I didn't really understand it. It just felt like it was just like a repeat of the same thing the whole episode. Like, this young guy needs to step up and the dad needs to step down. And that was literally like the whole entire episode. And it was not very interesting or entertaining. And I didn't really understand how they pulled it together at the end. The chefs had some communication issues too. And it just, I don't know, whatever. So, now for the best part. Guys, I made the biggest mistake today. I got British food. I thought I liked British food, and this restaurant called The Pub, I had been looking forward to trying this place for probably like over a year. And I was really excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to treat myself, and I'm going to get classic British food. I'm going to get soup of the day. So hopefully some kind of a light, hearty soup. And then I'm going to get fish and chips. Classic fish and chips. And they advertise it as, this is the best fish and chips in America. And then I'm going to get dessert. I'm going to get English toffee cheesecake. And, wow. I got to be honest, guys. This is probably... And I know, like, it's actually... Some of it's good, I guess. But, like... This is probably one of the worst meals I've had of the year. I mean, right off the bat, the food smelled. Okay, like British food. And, with Indian food, it's interesting because normally you think about smelly food. You think about Indian food. You think about Chinese food. You think about McDonald's. That's smelly. But I never thought British food. I mean, it just has this odor. It just has this, like, this strange odor. It's like oil and grease just smelling up. And I felt so sorry for the driver who delivered this food. She had to put this food in her car. She had to sit there with the smell. Hopefully she turned the air conditioning on. And poor DoorDasher. So anyways, the soup, right off the bat, I don't know what the hell the soup was. They say it's soup of the day. And then I don't even know. Like, I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up right now. Because I have no idea what this even was. Let's look it up. The Pub soup of the day. Okay? I gotta see it. Okay, wait, what? No, do they have a Facebook page? No, that's not the same place. I was thinking, like, no, that's not the right one. So I want to see if maybe this online menu says what the actual soup is, because it was very jarring. I opened up the soup container, and there was just like this brown mud. And to be honest, like, what the hell? Chicken curry soup? No, that can't be what it was. It just says daily featured soup. So I don't know what that is. Okay, so I have no idea what that soup was. But regardless, it was some sort of a brown mud. And it tasted like beans. It kind of had like a taco taste. Like a bean taco taste. And then it was topped with sour cream and chives. And I gotta be honest, guys, I ate the whole thing. I don't know why I did that. It was literally, it wasn't soup at all. It's gotta be a mistake. There's gotta be, I swear, that can't be. Because it tasted like bean dip. It tasted like a chip dip that you would dip beans in. There's gotta be an explanation for this. I don't see it. I look at dips. They have different dips. They have a goat cheese dip for $14. Overpriced, too. Definitely overpriced. But I don't see it. So what is this? What was that? What the hell was that, guys? Like, what? It's like some sort of a taco dip soup. It's some sort of a bean dip. And so right off the bat, my stomach was like, Marco, no! As I ate the whole damn thing. I got a little excited because the last couple of nights we had enchiladas, which I make those. And, we didn't have any sour cream, so I got excited about having sour cream, and it was almost like eating like the inside of an enchilada without any chicken, just beans and some chives and sour cream. Oh. So I would give that soup. I mean, it was not soup at all, guys. It was like mud. Safi took a bite of it and she said, "Ooh." And then she tried some other stuff and left. So then the fish and chips, they give you this huge tray with these fries, and you get coleslaw and a big fillet of fish and fries, and you get malt vinegar. And so this is actually my first time trying malt vinegar on fries. And I gotta say, that was one of the things I liked. I thought that was good. The fish itself, I sprinkled lemon all over the top of it. But what was interesting was the fact that the skin was soggy in the middle. And I thought, okay, this has got to just be from the lemon. So I was eating the fish. I do love fish. And, but on the bottom of the fish, the skin was soggy too. And there were even parts of the fish, there was this strange shape of the fish where, like, there was like this big shape on top that, like, there was no fish inside of it at all. It was just batter. I thought that was really strange. That was kind of like weird. And so, to be honest, I didn't, it was very greasy and oily, and just fatty, and it really, really not that great. It reminded me of one of the only other times I've had fish and chips, which is all the way back in 2016. I went to this convention in Illinois, and there was this hotel we always used to stay at, and they had this new kitchen staff, these Mexican guys, and they actually they were gone by the next year, but they were incredible. And they made the greatest fish and chips of all time. And it was so good. We got it like 2 or 3 times, Safi and I. And then we also got a chicken enchilada soup is the appetizer. It was just like perfection. And they even made good pancakes, like for breakfast. Like, they were some incredible Mexican chefs. So much better than whoever made this fish and chips with the soggy skin, and it's so greasy, and it's just so like, it's so heavy and rich. It's like, okay, they call the place the Pub. It's like, okay, I understand, because you got to be drunk to enjoy the food and say that it's a 5-star fish and chips. Okay, like, these Mexicans, they made better fish and chips than the so-called British restaurant with the best fish and chips in America. That's embarrassing. And after eating that food, I gotta say, British food is mid. It is mediocre. It is mid as hell. I regret getting it. It was $53 to get that meal. I fully, wholeheartedly regret it. I could have spent $50-something at Red Lobster and had a much better experience. And at least with Red Lobster, I mean, you're going to get those amazing cheddar biscuits at the very least, and some quality food. So, I did not finish the fish and chips. It's actually, it's here in my hands. I don't know if I should save it. It's been like a couple of hours, but like, I just got so full, and my stomach just, it was just so bad after eating this food. And I don't know if I want to experience any more of that tomorrow, you know? So I don't even know if I'm going to save it. I might just throw it all away. But I ate like half of it. I really did not think it was too great. I probably would have liked it a bit more if not for the bean dip soup, whatever that is. But that soup, I mean, I knew that I wasn't going to know what it was because it just said soup of the day. But I thought at the very least that I would be getting an actual soup, is all I'm saying. So then, the last course is dessert. English toffee cheesecake. And I was excited about this, I guess. I mean, I was gonna get the bread pudding. I probably should have just gotten that, because that probably would have been better. So I regret not getting that too. But basically, they did not give me any whipped cream. It's advertised on the menu as you get whipped cream on the cheesecake, and there was no whipped cream. And basically, all it was a regular piece of cheesecake, and then they give you chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, and ground up pieces of toffee, whatever. And I ate it. I gotta say, it makes me never want to eat cheesecake again. Because it was just so rich And the only real flavor that I got out of it was sugar. Like, all I could taste was just sugar, 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 sugar. It was so heavy. It was so dense. And so that's what I'm saying, though, is that, like, you have the heavy soup, the heavy entree, and the heavy dessert, and it just made me feel so sick. And it made me realize, like, wow, like, is this classic British food? I mean, this is not very good. So I would give that food from the pub, I would give it a D minus. I'm really disappointed in it. I know that some people, they might disagree. The place has some good ratings, but I don't think that I would like to go there ever again based on this experience. I think just not getting the whipped cream, that was a huge bummer, because the whipped cream could have helped the cheesecake feel a little bit lighter, like that's sometimes what's really good is you could have like chocolate cake and then have whipped cream, and the lightness of the whipped cream tricks you into eating more of the cake. But if you just have this huge piece of cheesecake with 2 different sauces and all these toffee bits, it's just too much. And it's not even good. I mean, it wasn't even any good. I mean, that's English toffee? Like, gross. Like, that is so overrated. I mean, I don't... It's probably not totally accurate, but, like, yeah, that was a big letdown, okay? So, anyways, please like this video and comment as I'm suffering. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to help out with our suffering, of eating this bad British food. And then if you would like to support our channel even further, please check out our Patreon page, because that is where you can get tons of exclusive bonus content. I have something very special planned this week. I'm not going to be announcing it. I'm just going to be filming it on, I think, Thursday and then posting it Friday. But I am really excited about it. It's actually the thing that I wanted to do today, but I knew I had to do Hell's Kitchen Nightmares. I was going to say Hell's Kitchen. So anyways, goodbye, everybody. See you soon.